Hello everybody, welcome to Beer Reviews with me, your host Jack. First off, a little apology. One of my video lights that's usually illuminating my face is busted at the moment, so I've got to get a new bulb. So you're going to see a slightly darker version of me with probably a lot more contrast. But hey ho, not a problem. Anyway, for tonight's beer we have quite a special one. We've got Anadromous by Anchorage Brewing Company out of Alaska, surprise surprise. And this is a black sour ale aged in Pinot Noir and whiskey barrels as well, clocking in a nice 8.5% and 30 IBUs. If you remember, cast your mind way back, we had one of their beers for IPA Day. We had Bitter Monk. I think I was going to leave it for like the 100th celebration beer for my reviews, but I had it early anyway for IPA Day. And I remember it was just fantastic, an absolute masterclass of kind of sour but really hoppy beers. So I'm quite expecting a lot from this one, to be honest. They've got a good reputation. The bottles ain't cheap. They come with a nice little cork and cage on the top, which is pretty cool. The sour, all the way from Alaska. What more can I say, really? They've also got some fantastic blurb on the side of the bottles as well. The cycle life can be harsh and rewarding. Born in fresh water, the mighty and Anadromous Alaska salmon struggle in their migration from pristine roaring streams to the ocean and back, travelling thousands of miles whilst avoiding many perils, simply to instinctively spawn and die, and often become a source of food in our own life cycle, etc, etc. It's a really interesting spiel on the back anyway. It's well worth reading, and again, if you pause the video you might be able to see it at least, but we won't get into that. So yeah, this is actually brewed with Summit hops as well. Apparently it's triple fermented, first in French oak furders, second in Pinot Noir, and finally in whiskey barrels with Brettanomyces and other critters as well. I'm expecting this one to be quite a fizzy little boy, because I remember the last one being as well. In fact, I can feel the cork going already. You ready for this? Ooh, no, we're good. Ooh. Not so bad. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but we'll pour it out into a glass and see what we have. So I'm expecting massive complexity in this, really. Black sours, we did one previously, last video as well, I believe, and was very interesting. I enjoyed it a lot, and it's something that I'm surprised not many more people do, really, but this one's massively complex as well. A la Anchorage Brewing Company, the beers are always a bit crazy, to be honest, but pours a nice pitch black colour, good little head that's sticking around for the ride, lacing beautifully as well, looks pretty. On the nozzle, ooh. Loads of nice fusty, funky Brett notes. You can smell barrel. It's got kind of a jammy, plummy Pinot Noir note. Lots and lots of oak on the nose. There's perhaps a little bit of peatiness as well, probably whiskey. A nice bit of tartness. You can just get that prickle on the nose with the lactic acids. But that nice funk. It's ticking all the boxes, to be honest. You can smell the funk, you can smell the whiskey, you can smell the Pinot Noir, and you can smell a lot of oak, lots and lots of oak. Joyful. Cheers everyone, let's get there and give it a try. That is a ride. Man, it's a complex beer to make. It's very complex on the palate. First impressions were, God, this is rich and thick. It's got much more body than many other sour beers. The bugs and critters tend to dry a beer right up, get rid of all those nice sugars, and leave you with a relatively thin, but you know, the flavour's there, but it tends to be a bit thinner. This, on the other hand, has got a big chunky body on it. Initially, it's just a little carbonation spritz on the tongue, a little bit of tart lacticness. It dries up a bit and you get loads and loads of really, it's very much like red wine is all I'm going to say. Really tannic, lovely juicy berries and black currants. There is a hint of peat at the back of the palate as well. A little bit of roasted malt coming through, but mainly it's this huge kind of easy supping red wine sort of flavour. Obviously at 8.5 it's not going to have the same alcoholic pungency as you might get in a 13-14% glass of wine. But there's this lovely, it's massively complex. All the flavours that they say are in there. There's definitely Brett fustiness as well, but it's just so jammy and fruity as well. All these, I don't know whether it's the Brettanomyces, whether it's the barrels, whether it's the Pinot Noir, but it's just juicy, really juicy. It's impressing me a lot. It's one of the best non-Belgian sours I've had in terms of complexity, at least. I find other countries do like simple sours really well. The Berliners and the Gozes and stuff are really popular at the moment around the world. and people do them really well, but when it comes to massively complex sours, there's only a handful of breweries that I think really do it exceptionally well outside of Belgium, outside of the traditional, sour producers. Good combination, clearly. Actually, warms the belly quite a bit as well. And these guys are definitely doing it. They've got a really interesting way of doing things, and it clearly works. I was expecting it to be an awesome beer. It is indeed an awesome beer, and I'm really glad I managed to pick it up. Despite the ridiculously expensive cost, I thought it would probably be worth it. So, go and check it out if you can find some of these guys' beers. It's well worth it. Love Buzz is cool. The Bitter Monk that we had way back when is awesome. And this little Anadromous beer as well is totally brilliant. It's really cool. And please like, favorite, comment and subscribe. Until the next beer review, cheers.